Professor Wallencorn, what's up, my guy? You see me, I'm wearing a Who Dat NFL draft coming up soon, so I had to make sure I got this assignment done. But here we go, chapter 19 notes. So this was about breach and damages. So it started out talking about damages, saying how a breach of contract entitles the non-breaching party to sue for monetary damages, and contract law damages compensate the non-breaching party for the loss of bargain. So this is different, whereas like the tort law damages compensate for harm suffered of another person's wrongdoing act or wrongful act, something they knew that they didn't do right. So here are the four types of damages that I found in this chapter. One is compensatory. So this is which is to cover direct losses and costs. Two is consequential, and this one is to cover indirect and foreseeable losses. Three is punitive, which is to punish and deter the wrongdoing. And lastly, four is nominal, which is to recognize wrongdoing when no monetary loss is shown. So moving on to constructive contracts, so that this measures the measure of damages in a building or construction contract varies depending on which party breaches and when the breach occurs. So it's all about timing. It's not always what exactly the breach is, but which party it does breach and when that occurs on a timeline. So it varies depending on which party breaches and when it occurs, like I just said. So one is the breach by owner. So to further into that, the owner may breach at three different stages. This could be before it even begins, during, or after the performance. So if it's done before the performance, the contractor can recover only the profits that would have been made on the contract. If it's during, the contractor can recover the profits plus costs incurred in partially constructing the building. If the owner breaches after, the contractor can recover the entire contract price plus interest. Two, this would be a breach by contractor. So when the construction contractor breaches the contract either by failing to begin construction or by stopping work partway through the project, the measure of damages and the cost of completion. The cost of completion includes reasonable compensation for any delay. So really, when I was going through that and I was thinking about different examples, I went through and thought of like example thinking about missing an assignment or showing up late to class. Like there are consequences, and it's a similar analogy. So like yesterday, Professor Shim was nice enough to give me a chance. I was so intact with the NFL draft over there that I completely forgot to do a discussion. I emailed him this morning and was like, "Hey, like, I'm sorry. Any way you can reopen it?" Luckily, good relationship allowed me to do it. But if it wasn't a good relationship, or if it's supposed to be what's actually normal, because he's a good, nice guy, then there would have been consequences. So it's kind of the similar situation here, and I hope that example made sense. So if the contractor finishes late, the measure of damages is the loss of use. Similar as well, if it's missing or if it's late, there's going to be a cost to it, damages. So there are other damages such as consequential damages, which are also referred to as special damages, punitive damages, which are very seldom awarded in lawsuits because of breach contracts, and nominal. So when no actual damage or financial loss results from the breach of contract and only a technical injury is involved, the court may be awarded nominal damages. And then moving on a little further on in the chapter, it talked about rescission and reformation at 413. That's shorter than normal. Rescission, first off, is essentially an action to undo or terminate a contract, so to return the contracting parties to the positions they occupied prior to the transaction. Reformation is an equitable remedy used when the parties have imperfectly expressed their agreement in writing. It allows a court to rewrite the contract to reflect the parties' true intentions. And so, lastly, it was kind of going into was it quasi or quasi contract? So, in the requirement there's four different requirements, which is 1, the party has conferred to a benefit on the other party. 2, the party conferred the benefit with reasonable expectation of being paid. 3, the party did not act as a volunteer in conferring the benefit. And 4, the party receiving benefit would be unjustly enriched if allowed to retain the benefit without paying for it. So, yeah, this is all mostly about damages and obviously the breach before, during, after, types of consequences that go with it. But hey, who dat, baby? If you're watching the draft, Professor Wallacord, if you don't care that much about it, whatever it may be, just cheer on the boys from NOLA. We'll get it done. Chapter 17, you know the deal.